Hello, today we're going to be going over how to use the vacuum pump for things in the lab like the vacuum furnace and vacuum filtration for the oil, if you choose to do it that way. So this is our vacuum pump. This is the oil filter. Right here is where our oil level is. You want to make sure that it has oil in it just by looking at the levels there. This is our lines here. So we have, this is where we'll connect to the furnace or the filtration system. And then when we run it, we use this to cap this to start our vacuum. So first we're going to go over the furnace, and then we're going to go over filtration. So over here is our line from the vacuum pump. You want to make sure that this is all the way closed. And then we have our door here. Inside we have trays. You can put on your soap bars or whatever you need. We close this door. We can use this to seal the door. So you can turn this. You want it to be pretty tight so that the seal doesn't release any air. And then down here are our controls for our temperature and our power. And we'll go ahead and show you how to operate things. So I got everything plugged in, so you can close this. And then you can turn on the pump. And it will run for a second. And once it's run for a few seconds, you can go ahead and open this. And it'll start to pull a vacuum on the furnace. You can see the vacuum gauge starting to go up in vacuum. And while that's going up in vacuum, you can turn on the furnace. So you can turn on your power and set the temperature control. Up here we have a thermostat or a thermometer where you can read off the temperature of the furnace. So depending on your application, you may or may not need much heat inside the furnace. But that's how you operate it for the vacuum oven. So for shutting it down, you just turn off the power. You let the oven cool. Also, when the furnace is running, this will loosen a little bit, so you want to make sure that that stays nice and tight. But once we're done, we turn it off. We turn off our vacuum pump. And then it will hold vacuum still until we release our vacuum, which you can do by opening this valve. And you won't be able to pull it off because it's stuck to it because of the vacuum. So once you're done, turn it off, open this, and it will release the vacuum. And you just wait for it to go all the way down. You don't want to open this until it's cool. If you didn't turn on the temperature and it's cool, then you can go ahead and open the door. The door might be kind of hard to open, so you can use a wrench or something to help turn that to open it. We'll go ahead and talk about filtration now. So for the vacuum filtration, what you'll do is you will basically take this line off. You can take it off here. You'll connect this to an Erlenmeyer flask tube, and then I'll show you the apparatus here in a second. And it's basically the same procedure where you connect this to where you want the vacuum to be, and then you can turn it on, close that, and then put your oil through the funnel, and then it'll suck it through into the flask. So this is the flask that you would use for the vacuum. You'd connect the vacuum to the red hose at the end, and then you would put in your coffee filter paper up here, and then once you have a vacuum, then you can pour the oil in the top and it'll suck it into here. Now, this doesn't do as good a job as filtering as other methods like plugging with cheesecloth or anything, but it is a lot faster.